This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Knick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks will play tonight versus the Philadelphia 76ers in Philadelphia. And we'll see if Josh Hart debuts tonight. I got my man Andy with me. Andy, what's going on with you, my brother? How you feeling today?
Salute, Sim. Happy to be on with you. Like you said, let's see if Josh Hart gets a couple of minutes or even if he's going to dress, because we're not sure if he, did all the medicals and stuff like that.
Right.
And if Tibbs even will want a guy that didn't have a practice under his belt with the team to get any burn, right?
That's true. I mean, he did with Derrick Rose. Right? Derrick Rose came right off the flight and started playing. So hopefully he'll do the same thing with, obviously Derrick Rose kind of knows the system and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I guess there's a little bit of a difference there, but we'll see if he does it with Josh Hart. And that trade actually turned into a 4-team trade. Right? So the Knicks actually, they traded for, this is from the Knicks PR department. The New York Knicks announced today, that was yesterday, yesterday, that the New York Knicks announced today that the team has acquired guard/forward Josh Hart and the draft rights to Bojan Dublovic and Daniel Diaz from Portland in a 4-team trade with Charlotte and Philadelphia. New York sends Fee McCulloch to Charlotte, Ryan Arcidiacono to and Cam Reddish to Portland. And also the draft rights to Antetomic to Portland. So it turned into a little bit of a bigger deal than just the 2-team trade, right? So the Knicks have a couple of draft rights as well. So turned it, to be a little bit bigger than we initially thought that it was going to be. You know what I mean? Andy, what are your thoughts on the trade? I haven't gotten those yet.
Yeah, I'm happy about the trade because we basically traded out players that didn't get minutes in the rotation, and I'm expecting Josh Hart to get minutes under, Tibbs. And question only is if he's going to get minutes in a 9-man rotation, or is Tibbs now going to be able to expand the rotation to at least 10, right?
Right. I think the rotation, at least from the beginning, is going to be expanded to 10.
Yeah.
Right? It's, in my opinion, it has to be expanded to 10. You don't just bump somebody, that quick. At least I don't think you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got to give a chance for Josh Hart to, figure out everything that's going on, get in the system, learn what it is that Tom Thibodeau's trying to do and those type of things. So I don't think you just bump. The likely guy would be Deuce, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he just gets bumped, or whoever it's going to be. I don't think they just get bumped that quick. So I think there'll be a 10-man rotation. And then, after a little while, maybe you see somebody fall out the rotation. My only question really is, I guess, whether it's going to be a 9 or 10-man rotation is one of my questions too. But I also wonder if he is available tonight or whenever he's available, does Tom Thibodeau believe he has to earn his stripes? Right? Because when Cam Reddish came, that's what it was. Hey, you know what? He's got to, he's got to prove that he's got to be out there, that he should be out there, et cetera, et cetera. this is a guy that rumor has it Tom Thibodeau really wanted. You know,
Yeah.
he's coveted this guy for a while now. You know, even before he was a Knick, talking about Tom Thibodeau, before he was the Knicks coach. You know, so does he jump right in and start playing? Or does he say, you know, this guy's got to earn his stripes? I think he jumps right in and starts playing. He's been playing in the league for a while. He's a
Yeah,
guy that
and
Tom Thibodeau covets. I think he plays right away.
yeah, and not to mention some, he has minutes in his career as a starter. It's not like it will be first time that he gets into a rotation, right? He
Right.
was starting in this league for several games. It's not like it was like 5, 10 games when somebody was, sick or hurt or something like that. He was as starter in the NBA, so getting, minutes off the bench shouldn't be, even a question, right?
Right. Right. Shouldn't even be a question at all. You know, hopefully, we get a chance to see him tonight. The Knicks just defeated the Philadelphia 76ers a couple of games ago. So you figure that Philadelphia is, they're ready to get this one back. Now, when you talk about the injury list for today, Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks, of course, is out. Joel Embiid is questionable. I think Joel Embiid probably plays. Right, this is an Atlantic Division game. It's a conference game. The Knicks are up 2-1. So if anything, Philadelphia wants to at least try to tie this series. So I don't think they just give the game. I don't want to say that they would be giving the game away, but I think Joel Embiid plays in this one because it's probably more important for the Knicks, but it's also important for Philadelphia. What do you think, Andy? You think Joel Embiid plays?
Yeah, Sim. If I'm correct, I believe the previous game he was also questionable, but
Yes.
he played.
Right.
So, like you said, I think these games, not only conference but also division, they're more important. And I think the Knicks are going to be viewed as a team that got better at the draft, at the trade deadline, right? By the
Mm-hmm.
addition of Josh Hart, and I think teams are going to be looking at the Knicks now. That listen, if they get on a streak, on a roll, they might, crawl up the standings. And if I'm correct, I think even Kendrick Perkins said that he envisions the Knicks to even go to the fourth seed
That's
in the
yeah.
East now. I think not only me and you are expecting probably that the Nets are going to drop from that seed. We're only 3 games behind in the win column. I
Mm-hmm.
think with the amount of games left in this season, that's a task. That's a doable task. I would say even easily. So no, I don't see any problems for the Knicks to really jump in and solidify their spot in that top 6 on the East.
Yeah, yeah. I hope so. I hope so. Projected starting lineups for tonight. I see my man Jarrell, already starting a little hashtag start Hart. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would expect to see that around, Andy. Start Hart. After at some point, especially if Quentin Grimes isn't doing well, you'll probably see that around. Start Hart. Hashtag start Hart. Right? But he won't be starting today. And that'll be Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Jericho Sims, in my opinion. And then for the Philadelphia 76ers, you have DeAnthony Melton, James Harden, Tobias Harris, P.J. Tucker, and Joel Embiid. All right, that's what I see the starters being for today. Will Josh Hart eventually become a starter? I guess we'll see. There's only like 26 games left to the season. I don't know that you would do that now, to be honest with you, with 26 games left to the season. If he was a super, super duper star, then of course you would. But, I don't think he's a superstar. He's going to be a really good rotation piece for the Knicks. So I think, maybe if he's going to eventually start, I'm thinking it would be next season, if that were to happen, right? Just for continuity's sake. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of agree, Sim. But I also, when you think about it, if you would try to move like the point of view that you don't necessarily need the scoring from Quentin Grimes in the starting lineup, but you would rather have it off the bench
Mm-hmm.
and just bring Josh Hart instead of Grimes, that doesn't require basically any shooting from him. You can make an argument, but like you said, I think the team is kind of built from day one with these guys, except Josh Hart. They have the cohesion, they have the tactics under their belt, the chemistry, and I think, like you said, from next season, probable. This year, if we get into the playoffs and it's like a deciding game, and like Tibbs did with Elf, right? He put him on the bench, literally the last game, just to save his chances to be in the playoffs. I think maybe like he can start, except of course injuries, if injuries happen, or health issues, right? So we're not talking that bad.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so those are your projected starting lineups, ladies and gentlemen. If you take a look at the defensive matchups, excuse my voice, you're probably looking at Jalen Brunson on Melton, Quentin Grimes on Harden, Julius Randle, Tobias Harris, R.J. Barrett, P.J. Tucker, Jericho Sims, Joel Embiid. Your thoughts, Andy?
Yeah, I think this is what we're gonna see. I think this was exactly the thing that we saw last game. I don't think Tibbs will make any kind of adjustments um towards this to tonight's game, because we won the last one. So I think it's the adjustments should be on Philly's side.
Right, right. And to be honest with you, I don't know, as far as defensive matchups, does Philly make any adjustments? I don't think so. I think they probably just make adjustments to game plan.
Yeah.
They probably feel like they should beat the Knicks. So any adjustment I think would probably be to game planning for the Philadelphia 76ers. As far as the bench matchup, Philadelphia, and again, excuse my voice, I've been doing a lot of screaming and hollering, from last night, at my basketball game. So my voice is a little bit hoarse, and it's not going to get any better because I have another game tonight. But anyway, the 76ers did pick up Jalen McDaniels. So before we even get into the bench units, just what kind of impact? He's not going to have the same impact that Josh Hart is going to have for the Knicks, for Philadelphia, right? But Philadelphia traded Matisse Thybulle. They get Jalen McDaniels back. Your thoughts on how that impacts Philly?
Wilson, I think also they got Jaden McDaniels because, if I'm correct, Forkman Korkmaz asked for a trade, and I just think that they weren't able to deal him. But if you have an unhappy player, you want to sort out the differences, and if it requires a guy to be traded or waived or cut or whatever,
Right.
you got to make room for for some better vibes and new breath of air. And I think Jaden McDaniels is that guy for the 76ers. Will he have impact straight up off the bench today? Probably not. But listen, on their bench also, there's George Niang, which is kind of a Nick killer, but last game he didn't perform literally nothing. He didn't show nothing for them. Tyrese Maxey is having a bad couple of weeks. I'm not going to say whole season, but at least a couple of weeks. So I think they're looking for any kind of option that they can bolster their bench. So
Yeah. And on their bench, you got Shake Milton, Yang, like you just mentioned, Montrezl Harrell, Tyrese Maxey, now Jalen McDaniels. And we'll see if Jalen McDaniels plays, or what kind of impact he has for the 76ers bench. For the Knicks, Emmanuel Quickly, Miles McBride, Josh Hart, Obi Toppin, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Obviously, it's up in the air whether or not Josh Hart is going to play for the night. And then, what does that lineup look like in the future? I'm hoping that he plays. I really want to, get an introduction to Josh Hart. and how he might look, for this Knicks team. Basketball is basketball. I think you can, show him a few things and he'll probably get it, and be able to do it. But they'll get out there and just start balling. You know what I mean? And he'll probably, if people will get mad, he'll probably hang out in the corner for now. Like if he does play tonight on the offensive side, he'll probably hang out in the corner until he gets ingratiated into the offense. So don't get mad right away, ladies and gentlemen, if he plays and you see him just hanging out in the corner, right? And say, oh, this is how Tips is going to use him. He's just going to put him in the corner. He's not going to do this. He's not going to do that. It'll be the first game. That's a likely spot for guys that are coming into a system. Hang out in the corner for a little while until you get everything, until you learn everything, right? Get some of those kickouts, knock down a couple of corner threes, maybe penetrate from the corner. You might see him setting a couple of screens until he learns what the Knicks do on the offensive side, right? So don't get afraid if you see him hanging out in the corner tonight, if he plays tonight, all right? Don't get afraid. The Knicks bench versus Philadelphia, they averaged 32 points a game, 16.7 rebounds, shooting 48.6% from the field and 43.2% from three. We'll see if they can keep up those numbers. Philadelphia's bench, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 36% from the field, 28% from three, 85% from the free throw line. We'll see if the Knicks bench can continue to play at this clip. They need to. Josh Hart will be an addition in the future, and you might see that bench production really go up. Andy, looked like you were getting ready to say something about Josh Hart.
Yeah, what we gotta remember that he's a great rebounder, and like we were mentioning that we lost literally those two close games in overtimes because we didn't get that final rebound. My question is, is Josh Hart gonna be in the lineup in crunch time to
Right.
kind of corral that rebound for us to get a
Right.
W?
Averages, 8 rebounds a game?
Yeah, for a 6'5" guard,
Yeah.
it's terrific.
Yeah, that's great. You know what I mean? It's the toughness, the drive, the toughness, and all that kind of stuff. What's your take on the matchup between the two benches tonight? With or without Hart?
Yeah, without him, I still expect the Knicks bench mm, to look a little bit better than the 76ers bench. I think the 76ers bench have players in Maxey, Milton, and Yang that are really streaky. If they're hot, they're going to be scoring. If they're not, they're just not going to help the starters, get a W for today. And, you could say the same thing probably from the Knicks standpoint, but at least last couple of games, Deuce helps you off the bench, even if it's 6, 7, 8 points. It's way better than just nothing, right?
Right.
Quickly, more bona fide and polished offensive players, so he can get you around 15. Obi also is looking for that 3-pointer to fall. If it's falling, he can score 2 3 a game, and that's almost 10 points, right? So that's where we average the 30 couple points from the bench.
Yeah. I think the bench, some of these guys are probably going to be on high alert now that Josh Hart is here, right? They're going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
man, I better make sure I'm performing and doing my thing. If not, especially Deuce, if not, then, my minutes might be getting cut short. You know what I'm saying?
I think Sim also RJ has to be on the watch out because his defensive
Yes.
lapses,
Right.
they're not going to happen if it's going to be hard there in those positions. So I
Right.
think that's a minor light that's lit under him to kind of think more on the court.
Yeah. What do you think about the defense, the bench, the possibility of the bench's defense with Quickly, McBride, and Josh Hart?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's terrific, and not to mention, Obi a little bit weaker defender, but also Harstein, he can corral and get those rebounds for you.
Mm-hmm.
With a guy like Josh Hart, I think the glass from the bench guys should be settled and should be won. And like we always say, rebounding is a really important stat and feature to the game. You don't let guys have second possession, second chance points, and stuff like that. So, and let's be true, Sim. Our starters are averaging, almost 40 minutes a game, right?
Right.
At least the three best ones. So the bench has only a couple of minutes on the court to spare the starters, right? So if they perform for those couple of minutes with high intensity, high energy, grab those rebounds, don't let the bench of the other team go on a crazy, 15-0 run or at least like that to get the team in the game, we should be good.
Right. Right. Josh Hart, coming from Portland, is averaging 33 minutes a game. Does he still play 33 minutes here with the Knicks?
Listen, Sim, for me, a perfect situation is you cut the minutes of Quentin Grimes by, like, let's say 2, 3, 5, maybe, right? Do the same with RJ. That's another 5, maybe 7 minutes, right? So it's gonna be 10, 12. Then you gotta cut someone's minutes off the bench. And I think, maybe it's not gonna be Quickly's minutes because he's playing not that bad and he's playing kind of another position, right? But that gives you way more flexibility. And I think Tibbs will use it in the way that if someone has a good game or a hot game, he can, play that guy a little bit more. Before having Josh Hart, he couldn't bench RJ because he's going to put in who Quickly. We saw that a couple of times, but I think size-wise, it's impossible to put in Quickly on a small forward, right?
Right.
Then again, you're not going to put Obi on a guy because he's even worse on defense than RJ. And, the Tibbs just literally didn't have options. Now, with a guy like Josh Hart, I think we can see RJ playing games like 28 minutes, even below 30 if he's going to have a bad game. So he has to watch out for those 1-for-7, 1-for-8 starts because he might not have those chances in the second half to get that field goal percentage and effectiveness and efficiency in the second half, back on track.
Right. Right. If Josh Hart does play tonight, how many minutes does he play?
Oh, he's gonna play under 10 if he's gonna get on the court. Yeah, okay. I don't envision many minutes unless we're gonna blow him out by like 20.
Right.
So
okay.
maybe he's gonna get.
But when Derrick Rose came, he played 22 minutes right off the bat.
Yeah. But
there's a difference there, but there's a difference because Derrick Rose and Tibbs, familiar with each other. Derrick Rose familiar with Tibbs' system and all that kind of stuff already. You know what I mean? But he did come right. He came right off the plane in Miami. Played like 22 minutes or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I guess we'll see tonight. It isn't, it's in Philadelphia near Villanova.
I was gonna say.
You know what I mean? We'll see.
I wonder if he bought already tickets for someone.
Maybe. I mean, he's from Silver Spring, Maryland. So that's not too far. It's like 2 hours away. So, they might have bought, tickets for. And on February 24th, when the Knicks come to D.C., I'm pretty sure his people are going to be there too. You know what I mean? We'll see. As far as the starting unit, ladies and gentlemen, we know who's going to, not the starting unit. I'm sorry. As far as the team comparison, so far against each other this season, the Knicks are 2-1 versus Philadelphia. All right, Philly is obviously 1-2 versus the Knicks. 108.7 points per game for the Knicks, 106.7 for Philly. The Knicks have dominated the glass kind of against Philly. 48.3 rebounds versus 40 for the Philadelphia 76ers. Right? The Knicks will need to continue that tonight. And with the addition of Josh Hart, I mean, you even got more rebounding. Right? 25 assists for the Knicks, 24 for Philly. 14 turnovers for the Knicks versus the 76ers. The Sixers only 11.7 versus the Knicks. The Knicks shooting 45.8% from the field, 32.7% from three, and 78.3% from the free throw line. Philly, 42.6% from the field, 34% from three, and 81% from the free throw line. two things I think are going to be key. Rebounding. I think the Knicks need to continue to win the rebounding battle and making it tough on Joel Embiid. They made it tough on him last game. They got to do it again.
Yeah, I agree, Sam. We could also, try to keep the turnovers low, right? The field goal percentages, those 3% difference from the field is also big for the Knicks. But we're down in the 3-point field goal percentage and the free throw percentages, which we also probably envision that Harden and Embiid might have more free throw attempts than the whole Knicks teams, right? So
Yeah.
that's also important.
Yeah, yeah. For those just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, it's still up for debate right now. Haven't gotten any or seen any kind of reports as to whether or not Josh Hart is going to play tonight. The only thing we do know is that the trade actually turned into a 4-team deal. All right. According to the New York Knicks PR department, the Knicks announced today, which was yesterday, that the team has acquired guard/forward Josh Hart and the draft rights to Bojan Dublovic and Daniel Diaz from Portland in a 4-team trade with Charlotte and Philadelphia. The Knicks send Svi McCulloch to Charlotte and guard Ryan Arcidiacono and Cam Reddish and a protected first-round pick and the draft rights to Ante Tomic to Portland. All right, so the Knicks got some draft rights to some guys, which they'll probably never end up in the NBA or playing with the Knicks. I'm sure they'll get traded off to somebody else at some point in time. But this actually turned into a 4-team trade for the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. So will Josh Hart play tonight? We don't know. I guess we'll find out in a few hours. The Knicks play the 76ers at 7 p.m. tonight in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center. All right, so we'll find that out in a little bit. We'll find out. Just about the trade in general and the trade deadline yesterday. A lot of second-round picks flew around yesterday. Did you think or expect that the Knicks were going to do anything else, Andy?
Well, Sam, listen, the Sadiq Bey got to Atlanta for what, 5 second-round picks?
Yeah.
I think the Knicks would trade those 5 and still have 2 the next each 5 years, right? So they can make that move. Then again, adding a guy like Sadiq Bey to this current roster would probably mean that Obi or at least someone has to get moved or is not going to get minutes, because I don't see Tibbs expanding the rotation to 11.
Right.
And what we got to remember, Sim, is that Mitch Robinson he should be back, even if I'm correct from the reports, because it's supposed to be 2-3 weeks, and it feels like he was absent for 2 months now.
Right.
These games, right? So when he comes back, I think one of the big men is going to lose rotation minutes. So sometimes having too many guys that want to be on the court might be also a problem. And what we got to remember, we still have Fournier that it's not even considered being a bench player when Josh Hart came in, right? So he's going to be really situational. D-Rose, we don't know what that situation is about, if he's mad at not getting playing time. I think no, but you never know.
Yeah. Is there anybody off of the not the trade deadline, off of the waiver wire that you'd be interested in?
Currently, no. I would monitor what they do with Pat Beverly, because he went to the Magic. I'm not sure that they envision him being that mentor for those young guys. Then again, I think a guy like Patrick Beverly fits basically every team. If he's gonna get minutes or no, that's a good guy to have on your roster to rattle these young guys up and work with them, just on the, even not in the basketball standpoint, but at least on the the mental, the greediness, how you enter the games with energy and stuff like that. So I think that's really important. What we heard also is Serge Ibaka is probably going to get waived. I'm expecting this week to get even more guys getting waived because you didn't have to get traded to get waived this week.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
for example, if you didn't manage to get out of a contract or get dealt, you
Mm-hmm.
might still ask to be a buyout candidate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's going to be several names on the waiver wire, and what we got to remember, Sim, is that we have two roster spots open. So I'm expecting us to fill one, and it can also be a call up for Jeffries from the
Daquan.
G League
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Daquan
Daquan
Jeffries.
Jeffries, and I think they might leave one open in case we're like closer to the playoffs and stuff like that. Maybe we're gonna pick up a vet or someone
Right.
like that, right?
Right. Right. Okay. All right. Josh Hart is going to wear number 3. All right. So he might look like John Starks running around out there. You know what I mean? But he's going to wear number 3 for the Knicks. Off of the waiver wire, I don't know. If Serge Ibaka is waived, I wouldn't be opposed to the Knicks picking up Serge because while we're waiting for Mitch to get back, if Jericho Sims or Isaiah Hartenstein goes down, you're gonna need someone like Serge Ibaka to be able to step in. Other than that, I know I've seen, obviously people know I'm a Melo fan, and I've seen people say go get Melo, but I don't want to go get Melo when he can't play,
Yeah,
right?
and yeah,
Because now if you go get Melo, he's gonna expect to play. You got Obi there, I don't think it's the right time. If Obi had been traded and you had a hole there at the power forward spot, I'd say, yeah, go get Melo. You know what I mean? Unless you're going to have a 10-man rotation and you're taking Deuce out, and then Melo can play the 3 with Josh Hart playing the 2, Emmanuel quickly playing the 1, Obi at the 4, and Hartenstein at the 5. It's the only way that I see you would justify bringing in Melo.
yeah. And Sim, if I can go just back to Ibaka at the moment, listen, a vet big man with defensive presence, great rebounder, set of screens for the best of the guards in the NBA. I think he could teach our young big man because they don't have a vet. Or when you look at the roster, I don't think you can consider Isaiah a vet.
Right.
So having a guy like Serge Ibaka might be a good move developmental wise, right?
Right.
So also when you look at the assistant coaches, I don't think there's any like, of course they have someone delegated to the big men, right? But I don't see even a guy like a Herb Williams or like a former NBA player that can work with them on some post moves and stuff like that. I'm not saying that Serge Ibaka is going to teach those guys post moves, but at least he can teach them something about defense and rebounding, right?
Right.
I think he's even a former defensive player of the year candidate,
Yeah, I
right?
think he is. I think he is.
So yeah, I think that might be a valuable pickup, even if it's like for like 2 10-day contracts, right? That's going to be like 3 weeks almost.
Right.
If he fits your squad, and stuff like that, you might consider signing him till the end of the season.
Yeah,
it's not about the money because he's not gonna eat up your salary cap and stuff like that. So it might be a smart idea.
Yeah. I think it would be a good idea. And as far as Melo, I would see him going to the Suns or something like that.
Yeah.
Listen, old men like to go to Phoenix, right? It's good for the body, the good weather,
the
and
warm weather, right?
all of that. It's good for the body. You know what I mean? It'd be a nice place for him to go and be able to produce off the bench over there in Phoenix. So
and
that'd be a good spot for him.
Traded literally all of their wings,
Right?
All of them,
Right?
Like,
right?
Who was a forward? You're on the trading block.
Right.
You went in that trade, so
and they're gonna have a good chance to win the championship.
Yeah, true.
So it'd be nice for him to go there and possibly win a championship. Let me get my man Nate, who's been waiting patiently, you know, to jump in. But me and Andy normally rock out on this. But Nate, what's going on with you, man?
Oh, my bad. I didn't know it was a
No,
two-man
it's
show.
good. It's not necessarily a 2-man show. I'm just saying, what's going on, man?
How you doing, Andy?
Your thoughts
What up,
on
Nate?
Philadelphia 76ers game tonight, and what kind of impact Josh Hart can have tonight if he plays?
So I have a feeling that Josh Hart's not going to play tonight. I think that maybe they want to get a practice under the belt before they put him in the rotation. I probably think he plays next game. That's just my gut. I hope he plays tonight. I like the guy and I want to see him play.
Yeah,
Um,
see. I think that because Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart have played together, right? They could say, "Hey, we're gonna throw. When Josh Hart is in the game, we're gonna make sure Brunson is in the game, and you guys can run some maxes that you did in Villanova,
Possibly.
right? You can do some things like that. You know what I mean?
I think with
But
I just think
still,
somebody's gonna get bumped.
you can always put him in the corner while everyone else is. The corner guy just hangs in the corner where everyone else is doing whatever and waits for a kick out. You can always put him in the corner. Then, of course, he can play defense. He can rebound. He can start a fast break. Fast break is just playing. You get the rebound and you go. Everybody runs lanes. So you can do those type of things for a guy that doesn't know your system yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just don't know what Tibbs is thinking. Tibbs is always a wild card as far as how he does things. He does not do things like regular coaches do. So I think that, like he said before, he's happy with the rotation. He's happy with the players he has. Josh Hart just joined the team. I do believe that Josh Hart is a fan, or Tibbs is a fan of Josh Hart, and I think that it's not going to take very long for him to get, into the rotation with good minutes, because I think that one thing about Tibbs is that he doesn't say anything in press conferences, but he tips his hand in games. And you can always tell who his favorites are on the court because they just seem to have a bigger role and they play a lot. And I think that Josh Hart's going to kind of be one of those guys, because I think he was definitely slamming his fist on the table for this guy. So, and he's a vet. He's a guy who's played. He's played in good teams. He's played a lot of minutes. You're not just throwing a 21-year-old onto a roster and saying, "Hey, let's see what you got." Josh Hart's been through the wars.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like I said before, he's a plug and play player. Like I don't think there's going to be a lot of issue once he gets into the rotation.
Yeah. I mean, listen, first of all, what Tom Thibodeau said about liking the team and the young players, I believe he does, but I also believe some of it was hyperbole, right?
Possibly.
I think he already knew that there was a chance that Josh Hart was going to be coming. And and I'm talking about recently. I'm not saying from the beginning of the season. I'm saying recently. And I think that he also knew that the front office was going to be looking to trade for the type of wing that he wanted. And part of the reason he went to the 9-man rotation is because he's like, you know what? I'm going to play the guys that are doing the things that I'm asking for them to do, that I want them to do. And I'm going to save this wing position for the type of guy that I want. That's just what I think. You know what I mean? So I really think as soon as he's available, Tom Thibodeau is he can't wait to put him out there on the floor.
I agree.
Yeah. And Sim, just to add, listen, even if he was on the West Coast, right? The plane takes you what, 8 hours to come to the East Coast, probably. I bet you when Jalen Brunson knew that, he already know that the Knicks staff already posted him their playbook, so he can have those whole 8 hours just to learn the basic,
right
stuff. And since it's a read and react, offense in several spots, I think it's not that difficult. And listen, this is basketball. When you have a high IQ, you don't need to know all the plays and all of the options on the plays.
Right.
No, and as Jarrell pointed out, Jarrell, so to you, bro, he said that we have a back-to-back, so I don't see our practice, tomorrow morning. So he's not gonna play also tomorrow,
Right.
like you said, Sim. I think it's even more because of the back-to-back. I think it's even more probable that he's gonna get minutes tonight.
Right. So
Did he already pass his physical and everything?
Probably.
I mean, the Knicks have already announced it. So I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then normally any team in the NBA, they don't announce it until it's complete, right? The physical, this, that, and the third. So, I think all of that is complete.
Because I was
Now-
watching some games last night, and they were players that were traded were already at the team's games.
Yeah.
So I'm
Right.
assuming they already passed their physicals and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Like,
Now, the only-
Mikal Bridges, right? He
Right,
was
like
interviewing.
Mikal Bridges.
You guys saw the interview?
I saw the interview.
yeah, he looked
saw the
pissed.
interview.
He looked mad, man. You could tell he was mad.
I saw the interview. They asked him about playing in New York, and he said, I love playing at MSG. Then he said, but I played at Barclays too when I was in college.
in college, right? So,
Yeah.
Well, he was supposed to go to the Knicks in the draft, remember? And then he got traded, or he got picked up by Philadelphia, right? No, it was the Suns.
Well, the Knicks could have.
No,
the Knicks could have drafted him.
yeah. But I
Right.
think also, Sim, I think he also got drafted. He got drafted by the 76ers, and he
Yeah,
got
and then he
traded
got
on draft
traded
night.
to the Suns.
Yeah, because his mom was
Right.
working for the 76ers,
His mom-
right? So
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
that was the
But
story.
he thought he was going to New York. He was pretty darn sure he was going to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll end up in the Knick uniform at some point.
And also, Sim, a fun fact that I realized actually today morning that Kevin Knox will be, playing versus Cam Reddish in the practices for minutes on the Portland
Exactly.
squad. So we're gonna see which one is gonna get minutes, and if that deal.
I thought Knox was on the
good.
Warriors.
No,
I
he
thought
got
he went to the
traded.
He was
Warriors.
rerouted to the Blazers. So he's
Oh.
gonna be, battling for minutes with Cam.
Right. That's hilarious too.
Yeah.
That's just hilarious. You know what I mean? That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I think it's the second stint, right, for Knox with Blazers, right? He was a Blazer for a bit, or no?
No.
I don't
No?
think so.
Okay,
He was us,
bugging.
then he went to the Hawks, and I guess then he went to Portland.
No,
No, he was a
Detroit.
Piston. He was a Piston.
Oh, Piston, yeah. He's a
Yeah.
Piston.
Yeah.
So he got traded to the Hawks, then he went to the Pistons, and then now
Okay.
Portland. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious though. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. We'll see.
Hey,
We'll see
Knox
who
could
wins
rebirth.
out. We'll see who
Could
wins
have a
out.
rebirth.
Yeah.
We'll see who wins out. But ladies and gentlemen, it's 12:47. I've actually got it. The reason why I jumped on so early is because I got some errands that I gotta run, and then I got another game. I got another basketball game tonight. The season, gets heavy, and it's hard for me to, get my schedule right. That's why these game previews, the times are all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Because, I got to get to these games, but I'll miss probably the first half of the Knicks game tonight. I should be able to catch the second half, but I'll definitely be doing the post-game show, so make sure you join me on the post-game show tonight. It may not be right after the game. I may not get to it till about 10:30, but I'll be on it. I'll be on it. Nate, any last words before we get out of here?
I think it's all about crawling Embiid tonight. I expect Harden to have a bounce back game. He didn't play very well the last game, and I think he'll have a bounce back game. But it's all about crawling Embiid, man. He in my opinion is the MVP this year, leading scorer in the NBA. He's doing everything right. He's playing with a huge chip on his shoulder for so many reasons. So you just got to be physical with him at the best, and just hope and pray that he doesn't go off for 40 or 50 tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Andy?
Listen, NBK fans, don't get your hopes up for the prospects that we got in this Josh Hart trade. One guy is 31, one is 29. They're getting solid minutes in Europe, but they're not gonna, fly
Right.
to US even for the summer league now. So
Yeah, no doubt. I seen Ralph on Rail said Nas is working on KD4. I did see that. that article on Billboard, I guess it was, where 50 Cent did an interview, and he said that, I guess they said that 50 Cent has a feature with Nas that's supposed to be on KD4, but I guess we'll find that out too sometime in the future. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I appreciate your time. Let's hope Josh Hart plays tonight. I hope he plays tonight, and I'll catch you on the post-game show, folks. I'm out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Knick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.